Okay, you want to get to it so we can get Kraken?
Kraken.
Like eggs.
Like the sea monster.
That was my first
That's
thought.
a really big hot chocolate.
It's an
also.
extra large.
Yeah.
And did you know there's actually a 1 in 6 chance of
let's
winning?
not do this. No.
I don't think you can drink that. Like, that's a big thing. You can't drink that before it will get cold.
You want to bet?
Not really. Because I know you can, but...
Honestly, the Starbucks hot chocolates, the large ones, I can chug them in less than 5 minutes. And I will gladly do so.
Every bone in his body just disintegrated. He turned into a primordial ooze.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
That was one of the
sickest
retrospective snapbacks of all time.
That's how you work out, folks. I am the little turtle cooking in his turtle shell, Travis Snail.
I actually think I had a name.
Oh no! And we had the fucking muffin, or sorry, the banana pecan eating Phil. He's eating that because he's French.
You know,
Again, we stress we do not like eating food on the podcast, but Taylor was in a rush.
happen.
So. I am Adam Hardcaster, Dylan Muss. Speaking of names and nicknames that I forgot to find.
And we're joined by...
I'm the clean slate, Taylor Field.
That's pretty
good.
good.
Pretty good, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what this is by the title or our nicknames, we are reviewing every Marvel MCU movie up until Ant-Man. We stop at Ant-Man.
To be fair, you can't really assume that from the title of the video that we're going to do all of them.
No.
But they can know that we're doing Iron Man 3.
Marvel Retrospective's in the title, though, so you could try to put two and two together. I trust our fans are smart enough. So
they are.
We are reviewing every movie up until Ant-Man. The rest we've reviewed recently, so go check those out. But yeah, so we are on Iron Man 3. We'll give a quick little breakdown. Yeah, there's going to be spoilers here and there. If you haven't seen Iron Man 3 and you're watching a review, and this many years later, you have a lot of questions you have to ask yourself at night before you go to bed. But yeah,
I don't think there's any huge spoilers anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna be check the channel. There's probably great stuff there. There's probably great Gauntlet stuff going on. Tons of great content.
Yes.
Now the question is this a great movie? Dilmas, do you think this is a great addition to the MCU?
Great is a really strong word.
It's strong.
I don't know. When I look at this movie, one thing I thought right after it is like, is this movie even necessary? And I don't think I'd say yes to that. If this movie hadn't happened, I mean, obviously, like, you know, I'm gonna drop some big spoilers right now, but he blows up all his suits, and like, there's, you know, he has like some character change, but I still don't really feel like it's entirely necessary. Yet I still enjoyed most of it. Like, I think it's kind of dull and like maybe it's just a tad boring at times, but I still had fun enough, like watching most of it at least. And you know, Robert Downey as usual is always captivating, like anytime he's on screen. I haven't seen this movie in a few years, so a lot of this was kind of new to rewatch. And one thing I did remember is that there's a kid in this movie, and I was wondering how I was going to think about that. I actually enjoyed it. I thought I thought that connection ended up being interesting to me. Villain was, you know, mediocre, I guess.
So
the
villain's a tough thing to talk about because
well, we have to break into it for sure.
Yeah, but just because in general, there's like 3 variations of villains in this movie, from like shadowy guy to like the Mandarin to like the real Mandarin. So it's like,
that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
I think that definitely adds some depth to it for sure.
Yeah, is it good depth? I don't know. We'll talk about that. I don't know.
You know, good depth. Yeah. Taylor, what do you think?
I definitely think, you know, it's very fresh on my mind for some reason.
You just watched it. That's going to be the post-credit scene. Check out the post-credit scene.
He was building up to that.
No, he wasn't. He was going to tell them. He was going to go, I'm an expert of Iron Man 3. Best Iron Man.
As Don Cheadle says, this is the best Iron Man.
He's gone on record saying
I think it's... Easily, it's one of my favorite Iron Mans. I really... I'm just throwing it out there.
There's 3 of them. This isn't fucking...
No. I count Avengers as an Iron Man movie. He's a rare.
I don't count it.
It's not an Iron Man movie.
I couldn't even give you Civil War, to be honest.
But I definitely think, you know, as far as his character development and all of this, I feel like his character completely 180s in this movie, and his total, like, what they showcase and everything from his evolution from being, like, rich billionaire Tony Stark to, just being someone who's just kind of, what?
You're gonna keep going? What are you going?
He still has a lot of money. That doesn't change.
It's just, but there's a brief point in time where they just take away the money and the the elegant like bachelor kind of like swinger style,
true, yeah,
and he's just totally
Swinger style. I don't know if I got those vibes from this movie.
No, you don't. That's what I like, because you get them in all the other movies, but in this, he's just totally stripped of that, and he's just panic attacks, anxiety attacks, stress attacks, alien attacks, and he's just
more about him as a man instead of an idea.
It's more of him without the suit, and I really like that. It's more of him like, I am Iron Man without the armor. And
it's the classic hero tale, like, could you do without the suit or the powers, right?
Yes, and like they call him out too, because like Captain America is like, take away the suit, what are you? And he's like,
that's not in this movie.
That's Don Cheadle's favorite quote from the movie too.
I love it.
watched Avengers over again. He didn't watch Iron Man 3.
Iron Man's not in this movie as much as I thought he'd be.
Iron Man 3.
But I love how that set up the bar for like, okay, you know what? After they did Avengers, it's like, you know what? Let's actually take away Iron Man's suit. Let's see what happens. And they did that, and it was the whole scene of him like dragging his suit through the snow. I love that, and him just like, Jarvis, don't go away, buddy. Or I can't remember what he said. He said something like that. There was definitely buddy.
Dramatic buddy.
I was gonna say I don't think he said buddy.
He does
You
say
seem to
buddy.
think that's the one thing he does
He
say.
definitely says buddy.
We have to do a Iron Man retro #2.
But it's just there was so much build up and just him being alone throughout this journey. I really like that, and the whole connection between him and Mark 42. Or was it 43? No, it was 42.
It's 42.
It's 42. Yeah, it was just a very powerful journey, and
Powerful.
I really loved seeing him change. I can't express that enough. Going all the way to the end and just learning so much about himself, and really just out of all the characters, none of the other characters were really hit by the effects of the whole Jatari attack and everything. But him going through that wormhole and seeing like the whole massive armada ready to take them down, even though they all got destroyed. It just opened his mind to the whole possibility of there being so much more out there. And it just sets up why he would go off to make like Ultron and everything, and just why he wants to do good,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Dylan did bring up a good point. I think we'll talk about that too. That this movie it does not really do much. I think my biggest thing is this movie has a lot of great ideas. And I think instead of some movies where, it starts really good and then ends poorly, I think it just starts really good and then just kind of tapers off. And it's just like, oh yeah, we answer that really quickly and let's move along. Mm-hmm. I think the Mandarin's like that. I think the double Mandarin's like that. I think the female, like the kind of good girl, kind of bad girl is kind of like that, where it's like, this idea, and just kind of, sorry, spoilers. They're just shot in the stomach, like that plot line's gone like, I don't know.
Yeah, that was really disappointing upon rewatching.
Well, I'll tell you why, what the real case is. I'm not sure if you looked into it, but I feel like there's multiple things in this movie where it's interesting, but they don't go the full effect. I think that could almost be because it's a Marvel movie and they want to, we got to hit these beats and do this. So maybe that's the case, because I know he wanted to go back into the Deem the Ball storyline about him being an alcoholic. They said no to that. So I think that's where the PTSD kind of comes in. Like, this is where I attacked that. I like that, but then it feels like that also near the end of the movie. Like, I guess he overcomes getting PTSD, but I don't feel like there's a moment where it happens. I feel like he just becomes ass kicker, and then it's just like, I'm back to being Iron Man, right? Like, yeah, I think you see him become different, but I don't think he changes. I think he does change at the end of this movie, but we see him in Ultron and Civil War, and he's kind of the same. That's why I do like Civil War, because Civil War to me kind of redeems this movie a little bit from that aspect, because he even says like, I tried to give it up and I couldn't, right? Where before it was just, you gave it up, what was the point? So they kind of retroactively fix it in the way of like, but then again, did we need 2.5 hours or 2:20 to see him like try to not stop being Iron Man, and to result in him not being Iron Man. I'm not sure if this was back in the day too, if he wasn't sure if he was staying or not, because if he wasn't, this is, I think, a good send-off. He could appear in Avengers maybe here or there, but this would have been a good send-off. But it still doesn't make sense. We'll talk about later why he destroys all the suits. Other people could have used that. Rhodey could have used that. He knows there's aliens out there just because you're not using it.
Because Pepper Potts for love.
It's for love, but she's a selfish bitch then. I think the villain, I liked the twist. I felt uneasy about it the first time I saw it, but I like it.
Uneasy, like you didn't know.
I didn't know how to feel. Yeah, because I like the twist because it's a ballsy twist to do. Sure. But at the same time, I don't know, was it good for the plot? Because when Aldridge takes over, it feels very quick, and we don't get much development with him other than, which we'll talk about later, some stuff at the beginning. I just feel like there's a lot of good ideas, a lot of good nuggets. Nothing's really executed 100% well other than, Downey's good. It feels very different than the first two Iron Man with the narration starting off. That's a total Shane Black thing.
It's pretty obvious that this is a different director.
Yeah. Like, if you watch you should watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's a really good movie. It's him and Downey. Downey's leading, and that's how he got the job. Downey said, hey, I want this guy to direct Iron Man. It's very similar, but this movie feels the most, like, not... It feels like the MCU still, but it feels like this weird thing off on its own, you know? And it's stuff I really like, and we'll get into. I think it's better than Iron Man 2 just because there's some excitement. I do not like the kid at all. I do not like him in Jurassic World either. This kid, like...
You just have a...
I knew he was familiar.
I think the kid's a good actor. I just don't like the characters. I just think in the journey of Tony Stark, I didn't need this thing with the kid. It was a fun little venture, but on rewatch for me... Mm-hmm. I like the beginning, I like the end. That slog when he does lose the suit until, like, when he gets captured by Mandarin goes on for quite a while, and it's just him doing detective stuff, and it's not that exciting detective stuff. He just kind of, like, literally walks into a bar, like, oh, you're supposed to meet somebody, right? And it's like, we don't get explained at this at all. Like, I don't know. It's... The movie, I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. Overall, I do like it. Again, I don't think Marvel's made a single bad movie as far as the MCU. I prefer Iron Man 2. I really enjoy it, but there's also some big flaws in here that, it's a movie that I have no problem rewatching, but it's not when I look back, it was one of my top tier MCU ones. Like, it was good, but that's about it. So I want to start actually with the whole villain thing, and everything, because I wanted to explain her. Originally, she was supposed to be the villain.
Yeah.
This was back in the day when Kevin Feige had a partner, Ike Perlmutter, and who does TV now.
It's Marvel's a sick last name.
It is. That's a very rich last name too. But it's so he is a couple of years ago. They split up. He does just the TV stuff.
I love that name. I can't
Jesus Christ.
Perlmutter.
He does the TV stuff like Daredevil, Shield, everything like that. Feige just does
I'm gonna name my kid Perlmutter. First name Perlmutter. Perlmutter must.
They split, but apparently it's rumored, but like he's never gone out and said, yeah, I didn't want this. But the rumor was he was not a big fan of, he would always bring up of, hey, we don't need to make Black Widow toys because they won't sell because it's a female toy. And apparently she was supposed to be the main villain, and he kind of nixed that and said, I don't know if we need a female villain that's not going to sell toys.
Who's supposed to be the female villain?
The girl.
The botanist.
Yeah, the botanist. Who we can't remember her name, but... what's her actual name?
Isn't that like Tara or...
I think it's
Hanson.
Buddy.
I think it's Hanson. I could be
It's
wrong.
Perlmutter.
It's Perlmutter.
But, so she was supposed to be the villain. I think she was supposed to maybe originally be... Like, okay, so you got Mandarin and then her to be the one behind him. And I think that's where it comes in. Like, we have her at play, and...
Maya Hansen.
Maya in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because Rebecca Hall's a great actress. But, like,
yes.
You have her in play, just doing her thing, whatever it is with her plot with Gwen, like, with Pepper Potts. Like, I don't know what she's doing in this movie with her. Like, she's hanging around with her, and, like, she has a plan, but,
kind
like...
of just waiting.
Yeah, the second everyone gets kidnapped, she's like, I don't like this plan. She's trying to kill herself. So you have that. You have the fake Mandarin, which I think is great. All the stuff is fantastic. And that's where I do understand some people's disappointment of, hey, I want to see that movie and see that progress. So I get that. And then you have the twist. With Aldrich Killian, he's a 50-50 for me. Sometimes he's on... Guy Pearce, great actor. I think acting-wise is fine. Sometimes on screen he's great, and then other times he's just... It's really weird and super cheesy, and that's a Shane Black thing. But the problem is the whole movie's not super weird and cheesy. There's times where it's super serious, and then it's like cheesy. It's not like Ragnarok, where I feel like the whole way Ragnarok's kind of cheesy, right? Where Black Panther, for the most part, is pretty serious. This is kind of all over the map. Mm-hmm. And with Killian, like, he's very scary at times, but then, like, I use my nickname, when he's doing that, like, monologue of, like, you're cooking like a turtle in your little turtle shell, like, it felt really like Austin Powers, like he comes off very cheesy at times, and I hate that because I love the actor. So I think the villain thing is, that's another reason why it doesn't have strong
I guess he's
backbone.
supposed to be like a goofy guy, and that's sort of established.
I don't like
in that,
goofy villains.
In that, like, well, I don't know. It's kind of it's maybe that he's not really a goofy guy anymore, but you see in that opening scene of him like 10 years ago that he is kind of like a goofy guy.
Yeah. He's kind of an all, but I just wish we got more of, because I love the shot when he's telling the story of him looking over the city, and he's doing a good job of portraying, like, he looks really disappointed and sad and whatnot, just, and he's contemplating suicide, and like, Tony's starting not coming up to meet him, and I want that of just like the really hurt guy, and I feel like he talks about it a bit, but we don't really get that. He's very...
Yeah, I can't really give you like why exactly he's so, I guess, menacing, or why he's... I guess what he's trying to do is, like, pretty violent, you know, he's killing a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal, but you don't really understand why he's so villainous or why he's so evil.
I think because we don't spend enough time with him, because at the first half of the movie, he's just, like, the Mandarin's assistant. That's how they play off, right? And then at the end, like, he's the Mandarin, but...
Yeah. Well, I guess that comes down to the fact that they had, like, so much split up. Obviously, they have, like, this other female character who they kind of had to fandangle into the story, I guess, because she...
was a part of the original
She was supposed
script.
to be, like, much bigger, and then she wasn't.
And they even
then the
cast
Mandarin,
her.
we spend a lot of time before we actually find out about the Mandarin twist, not twist. And then we see him a couple times, and then even then we have... Like, there's that one, like, henchman guy who has, like, quite a few scenes, actually. Mm-hmm. So doesn't have any story whatever.
He becomes Iron Patriot.
He's the classic, like, goon, I guess you could say. But
he has
we
a lot
do
of
get, like, a
screen
few
time
scenes
and
with
dialogue
him. Yeah,
with him
so
and
all
having-
those things kind of dilute Killian's character, and therefore you only get a certain amount of time, and you can only understand him so much.
Yeah.
And, I mean, his powers are cool, you know? He
breathes fire.
He regenerates.
Yeah.
So...
Like, I think he works for this movie because in the confines of this movie, like we said, there's so much split up. But I wanted to like him more. I think there's times I like when he's more menacing. One of my favorite times is menacing.
Metacritic medicine.
Pecans. There's just one time where he has Pepper like choked up against the wall, and she's like
for like a while.
Yeah, he's like trying to get him, and he's like, just no, stop it. Like
Pepper.
I kind of like that, but there's times where he just gets overly comic booky villain, and if he was that way the whole way, maybe I'd like it. But Taylor, how do you feel about the whole villain situation? You got a lot dangling from this tree.
I like the Mandarin because I mean
Which one? Fake Mandarin or the real Mandarin? Even though Marvel has retroactively made Killian not the Mandarin anymore. They do these things called one-shots, and it was on a DVD. It's Trevor in jail, and he's just a nutball in jail, whatever. And it ends with the one-shot saying, the real Mandarin wants to meet you, because they just backtrack because fans were so pissed about the Mandarin thing.
So the real Mandarin's out there.
That's what Marvel says, but I think they're just not going to get to it. They just said that.
Phase 7 Mandarin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Phase 7.
Well, you know, I mean, I enjoyed him, but I definitely do like the whole twist in the Iron Man movies where the villains are wearing their own Iron Man suits in a sense, like they have their own armors. I really like that. I think that.
Where does that apply here?
Well, he doesn't really have one. He just kind of steals Iron Patriot's armor. I would have liked it if the villain was more a sense like a guy or whatever, like not in the same storyline as just kind of being jealous and rising up to compete with Tony Stark and making his own Iron Man suit, but just that twist of some guy eventually achieving a suit or building it somehow, but just putting on like some kind of a different story or just really changing it up. Because I really like that aspect, and I think it goes well.
I didn't get that from him taking over Iron Patriot, though. I just took that as like he just took the suit for one mission.
He did, and I it was okay, I guess, but I mean it helped progress the story and what they were trying to go for. But I mean, for me, villain-wise, being an Iron Man movie, I like to see like a guy basically get an iron suit of some kind.
You
and
did just say that.
Yeah.
But you don't want to see something different though, because we already saw that.
With 2 times.
Well, that's what Avengers did for me, getting Iron Man to see like fight off against aliens. So that was my something different. Now we're back in an Iron Man movie, and we got like 42 suits. I want to see one of those suits be bad or something like that. Like,
okay.
to see like his suits
like what you
actually.
like?
It's not what I would want, but I respect that you want that.
Yeah, I welcome the change.
I feel like, you know, maybe they would have gone with the suits all turning on him, and it would have been Mark 42 versus like all Mark 41s. That would have been sick. But I think, you know, Ultron kind of stole the spotlight for that. So, but no, I didn't mind him. I thought he was scary, breathing fire like a dragon, and just, you know, burning holes through suits and everything like that. I mean, he was pretty cool as a villain. Trevor was he was something else. I didn't expect it, and I didn't like that, and I liked it at the same time. But it was a good
I
unexpected.
completely understand that, actually.
Yeah. Like, I thought he was badass. Like, the moment, every time they showed him on screen, he was just dominating the screen, and just, he's, like, ready for another lesson. And there's that voice, like,
Solid
wow,
voice,
this guy is nuts. Like, I do not want to bump into him walking around downtown or something
But
like that.
he doesn't really seem dangerous.
I think he seems really dangerous.
I think he seems
Really?
incredibly
Well,
dangerous.
it's with what's around him is dangerous, right? Like,
Sure.
you see these packs of people riding for him, right? They
Yeah.
have his face, so it's like what he
But if you just bumped
symbolizes.
into him on the street, you know?
Depends,
What would
because
he
the
do?
Mandarin in real life has 10 rings. That's what they're called, and their alien technology got them, and he can do shit with them. So if he had those 10 rings, then he would probably fuck you up.
I definitely
Infinity
do
Gauntlet.
enjoy the when he was kind of like let loose and funny, like his whole like personality, like when I love when Brody was interrogating him.
Who?
Brody.
Fuck. Brody. Damn it.
Well, you watched a different movie than I am. You watched a porn movie. Well, Brody's here. Gonna give you my own Patreon.
But yeah, Brody was like interrogating him, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and he's like talking, and he's like, "Hey, ole, ole, ole!" Like those moments are really, really good.
Let's picture that'd be Taylor, like that guy. That's what Taylor's gonna roll.
It's wild.
I don't know if I could grow that kind of beard, but I could try.
You get a fake one.
A fake one. I had one more thing. Oh, yes. So this is a question for you. Now, at this time, is Alex Killington,
Aldrich Killian?
that's the one. Yes.
Are you sure you didn't watch a parody of this movie with all new character names? Oh my god. I had no idea. I thought this was some obscure Marvel character that I totally forgot about.
Alex Trevian? The Goldeneye villain? Oh.
Oh man.
Aldrich Killian.
Yes.
It's a pretty distinct name.
Alex.
I think so.
Alec?
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, you saw some porn parody where there's not a real one. Brody, Alex Trevian, like. So what is your question about Aldrich Killian?
So, this whole time he was basically the Mandarin.
Yeah.
Apparently leading the Ten Rings terrorist group, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean now we obviously know it's the same group from Iron Man 1 that abducted him?
Yeah.
So is
I
he
have
leading
no
them
answer
at that
for
time?
you there. I don't think so because they would have brought it up in this film, but you could kind of, they don't tie it to it, so I would say that maybe he adopted them or something. Because yeah, the terrorist group in the first movie that abduct Tony is the Ten Rings, and that's the terrorist group. So either at some point he got them, or yeah. So I
got them. What do you mean, like
maybe
them?
he became the leader, like acquired them, killing with his money, right? Of like, oh, you guys are doing this, like come work with me, you know. Iron Man blew up half your face, you know, that's not good.
Yeah, why wasn't he in this movie?
There's rumors that he was supposed to originally be the Mandarin, and then Iron Man movies seem to go through quite a bit of changes. Iron Man 2 was rumored that they were rewriting the script every day on the set and stuff like that. And Jeff Bridges complained about with Iron Man 1, he said that they were constantly rewriting, he could never learn his lines. So, and again with this, with the villain, I feel like, yeah, Iron Man movies, they're always tinkering.
A lot of restructuring.
Yeah. Alec Turbian? No, it's Killian.
They're just trying to repair it. The mechanics.
Yeah, so anything else on the villains? Dylan, because you didn't say, what do you feel about the actor? I know you said you're uneasy, but where do you come down the twist? If you're pro or for it, what movie would you rather see? This movie or the imaginary movie?
The twist of just...
Fake Mandarin.
Yeah.
Or, so you have this movie, or would you want to trade to see the imaginary movie where Ben Kingsley is the Mandarin and whatever that movie would be?
I think for, what they ended up doing, if they're changing the script all the time and changing shots, I think what the final product that ended up on screen, I like the twist. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to see more of the Hansen character and that development between her and Tony, and her having like an actual role in the story, because
she does.
Really, yeah, you could take her out. You would have to tinker a couple things and then it would be functional.
All she does is provide the science thing, right? She's working on this and they weaponize it. That's about it.
She didn't provide it though. Tony did.
No, but she was working on that, right? That's what I mean. That could have been it. He could have been just a fucking lab and been like, oh, do this. They just wanted a set piece in 1999.
I was pretty let down when, so she obviously comes to Tony at his house and reveals that
super random. Yeah,
that she is, she thinks her boss is related to the Mandarin and all this. And then there's that scene of when Tony's strapped into that bed frame thing, and she's there talking to him, and then she revealed she's talking about how she was kind of in on it the whole time.
Yeah.
And then Killian just walks in the scene, and that character's completely forgot about it, and then she just dies.
Well,
right?
then it feels she's really not for the plan after. Right?
It doesn't really make sense. They just went halfway with it, or maybe even a quarter. It never really felt like a fulfilling story, and now she's gone. So I think in that regard, villain-wise, I would have liked to see more from her, and even if you take the current story and just up her role, I'm not sure. It would obviously have to change a few things.
Well, then, but would you, though,
I did like.
How do you feel about? I guess Killian. I guess yeah, you're talking about. But then in my version, I think the way they proposed as she was just gonna be Killian. Like they would have found some sort of way to script that maybe he's in it like a little bit, but not to the extent. Tanner's chewing his cob for some reason.
No, I'm rolling it up.
American viewers have no idea what that means. So it could just be
rolling it up.
But like, I think there's a version of her as Killian.
I mean, obviously, if it was the same movie, but she was Killian and he was her character, then obviously it would be the exact. It would have the exact same problems as it has now. But I don't know. I think Killian's good, and I agree with you that acting wise as well. Yes, he seems a little inconsistent. Maybe he's supposed to be.
Yeah,
he's a little weird. He's kind of a goofy character. Overall, I didn't mind it. I wasn't really a big fan of like the final action scene, so maybe that kind of brings it down for me.
Oh, I like the final action scene.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a big battle with all the Iron Mans, and he's jumping into different
There's some
suits.
aspects of it that I like, but because I guess so that scene as well when Tony Stark breaks into the Mandarin's place and he's talking to that guy, to the fake Mandarin. I really liked all the scenes with Trevor. Yeah, I thought his dialogue was like just strange, kind of whimsical. He was funny. He was interesting, and I like that whole instance when he breaks into the compound. And it's fun just seeing him. Yeah, without like the full suit, he just has like the odd knick-knack here or there, and then eventually he gets like one piece back at a time. And so I like that whole compound scene, except for I guess the ending with Hanson's character. So villain-wise, I don't know. It's pretty okay. It's kind of on par with like most of Marvel villains. Maybe a bit better because you have like multiple moving parts, so that kind of gives some intrigue to it.
And at least I think I can't say much for Hanson because she's not in that much, but I think Killian at times is charismatic and fun to watch. And I think Ben Kingsley as like fake Mandarin in those videos is kind of cool. Like when he has that guy with the gun and everything, like those are good scenes. Where sometimes you got Malekith and it's like these are not good scenes. Woof. What do you? Because this is another complaint that I've never understood about this movie. I defend it all the time. Lots of people were mad. They say, "Oh, Iron Man's not in it enough." Tony Stark is Iron Man, like the suit.
I kind of felt like he was in this movie more than the second one.
Which one? No, I mean they mean like Iron Man. Suit. Iron Man. He's not in the suit enough. Which to me have never gone because one, there's 3 other movies with him in the suit, and 2, Tony Stark is Iron Man. Like I think people pay to see Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, the action and suit stuff's cool, but like I had never when I heard that complaint, I was just like, oh, I never understood that. I like the.
I think I can understand it from the perspective that a lot of the time with. Tony and the suit is like the suit flying at him because he developed this new technology that it can fly from wherever it is and land on it. And there's a lot of scenes of that. Like
he throws it on other people too.
Exactly. There's a lot of that in this movie. So I could see from that perspective if you want to see more of him actually in the suit as opposed to it flying towards him.
Yeah.
I can get it. I think there was a bit too much of like the scenes of him like throwing it at people and him landing on him.
Yeah.
But I don't really care a whole lot about like how much he was in the suit itself.
No, he's the same guy. He just doesn't have like repulsor, but like
I think he was in it a decent amount, or at least there's enough of like a presence of the Iron Man suit in this movie. Yeah. So that complaint.
No, I just remember getting.
That's probably just like people were mad about other things in this movie. And
and he's not even in the suit though.
Just throwing that out there for the sake of kindling the fire some more. I guess.
Yeah. Taylor, was enough Iron Man for you?
At the end, I mean, I think all the Iron Man suits made up for the fact that he wasn't in the suit at the beginning of the movie. I mean, seriously, there's 42 friggin' suits.
Well, they're not all 42 are there.
Yeah, they are.
So his suit from the fucking desert is there?
Did you watch like one of those YouTube frame by frame takes or something?
Yeah, when did it get blown up?
Remember it showed when his house was being blown up, it showed the original marks being blown up.
Taylor's right. But okay, my point is I don't think that suit could have been flying with them. Your statement is still wrong when you say all 42 were there. That's what I'm trying to say. They weren't all there.
Oh, I see.
You probably see 42 suits in this movie.
30, all 37 were there. Okay. All 37 suits were there.
Wow. Semantics, boys. Semantics.
Well, I think though with him being in the suit, I think he's in it a lot, but I think it's the pacing because after his house gets blown up, that chunk, which is my least favorite chunk of the movie, he's not in the suit for quite a while until, like you mentioned, when he gets it piece by piece. So I think maybe that's it too. That I think when he's in the suit, he's in it a lot. Like when they save all those people from. What the fuck is Air Force One? Yeah, it's called Air Force One. The plane for the president.
I'm sure they knew it. It was Air Force One. one?
Well, no reason I actually did that because I didn't think Dylan knew it, so I was trying to.
Do you know what Air Force One is?
I guess so. It's the president's plane.
He just wasn't head nodding.
The way you said that was just really strange and disjointed. You know?
He was just looking at me like he didn't know. So
You were trying to get to one idea, but you tackled it from like 5 different angles as opposed to just saying it.
But anyways, like, I feel like there's a big chunk where he's not in the suit, so maybe that's what people think. And for me, that chunk is not enjoyable. Do you have anything to add on the suit?
Like the Mark 42 suit?
Just this suit
It looks
in general.
nice.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think...
I don't like the look of the suit, actually.
I love the color. I love, like... The Iron Man was definitely, like, more...
like
in the first movie, like the yellow and the red. This one, I loved it being more like the copper gold kind of look with the darker red. I think it looked much more, like, rustic
Pink
and
gold
just kind of, like, darker and more, like... Wow. I don't know, it just looked really, really nice. I loved, as soon as he was, like, getting the suit on, doing his, like... hand motions and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it was really sick, and when the faceplate's coming at him, the hairs on my arms stand up when he does his 360 no scope flip or whatever and lands, and it goes in his face, and he's just looking like a badass.
This is for you, Brody.
Those moments are just really, really sick, and I think that, like, as far as them kind of like incorporating like different parts of the armor, I felt like all the different parts of the armor, like the hand and the feet and all that stuff, it just felt like each one was its own kind of like character at certain points of the movie. It just, I thought as far as all the
It
armor
tries to maybe do something to Pepper in the middle of the night. We don't know what it is, but I don't know. It didn't look safe.
It was removing the threat from him because it detected his heart rate and yeah. Why? What do you think it was doing?
Nothing. So what was I gonna? So the next, I wanted to.
What's so funny?
Let's talk about the kid, because
Sure.
I want to talk about the kid, but that whole sequence. So I'll say the first. We'll talk about his PTSD in a bit, but I'll say it's like him struggling with that. His house is blowing up, and then he's off on his own for probably a good like half an hour, something like that. Where he's in, where is it?
Tennessee.
So he's there. It's snowing. It's a very Christmas themed movie. Came out in May, so I don't know. And to me, this is one of these cheap Christmas movies where it's not like Batman Returns, where it like really lies on Christmas and Christmas is a theme. It's just kind of there. I kind of wish it was more Christmassy.
Jurassic World.
Sure. Like for a negative, yeah, because I didn't even know that movie take place in Christmas.
Yeah, they play Christmas music at the ferry terminal, and it's snow
see?
and everything.
I don't like fake ass Christmas movies that just use like
really dedicate to the Christmas.
Well, yeah, if
you're
it's in there, make a fucking Christmas movie. So that's wrong.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
But that chunk where he meets the kid and they go to like that bomb site where it's like, oh, the story's about this missing soul because he was the bomber. And then he goes to the bar and he meets this guy's mom and he has that fight with the fucking extremist people. And then eventually he does leave the kid. That was the hardest thing for me to watch, where it wasn't, nothing's bad. I think, like Dylan said earlier, for me, that portion was just dull. The kid, to me, I think you could have done this exact same movie and taken that kid out. You didn't need him there, especially, I think they just wanted Downey to be quipping. But at this point in the movie, it's, like, much more serious. Up until that point, it's been very serious, I feel. Like, he's suffering PTSD, he's having anxiety attacks, he's dealing with a terrorist, Happy just went in, like, a coma. I feel like it's really serious, and then when the kid comes in, it's like, oh, it's comedy hour. And I think it clashes with the film quite a bit, and that to me, and the stuff to me is boring. Like, then just looking at this bomb site, it's like, I don't know. I know you can do detective stuff, but for me, just make it interesting. Like, make something that I want to watch, and I didn't want to watch any of it. And the fight scene with the extremist girl is good, because he gets that great line of something.
I've dated chicks hotter than you.
Yeah, like he has, and like whatever that thing about his book, like a cheap trick and one-liner. He's like, that's gonna be my biography one day. Like the thing is, Downey's good, so it's not bad. It's just like meh. So yeah, for me that whole portion, and I did not like the kid. Don't need the kid. I don't need this thing about bullying. I don't need this blah blah blah. I like when Downey quips at the kid and puts him down. Fuck that kid.
Yeah. Well, I'll start off by saying that I hate how he just ends up there, because he just like
Jarvis
just is unconscious and then he's in Tennessee. It's like there's really no thought for how he got from there to there, and maybe Jarvis has like a little joke that explains it, but it still felt to me like there was no reason. It was just like
there is a reason, because he was looking into the bombings, right? So it took him there.
I know, but I still feel like that's not really something Jarvis would have done.
But
like,
he told Jarvis to set a flight plan for it.
But I realize that. But what I'm saying is that I think it's a really like loose reason for how to get him there, because
why couldn't the flight plan?
And I feel like Jarvis should be able. Jarvis is like smart enough. He should know that okay, Pepper like maybe just almost died. Tony obviously would want to see her, want to be like there and make sure she's safe and not just leave her with this other girl who just came out of nowhere and is potentially sketchy, but instead, no, he's gone, he's off in Tennessee. So there is like sort of a reason there, but I feel like they just wrote that in like 10 seconds so that the script would like kind of make sense. Yeah. But to me, it's pretty lazy reason. I enjoyed the sections with the kid. I don't really know why. I kind of thought I would dislike it just based on like my memory and general like kid acting. But I mean, he's no Daphne King. Don't get me wrong. But
no.
But I don't know. I like that he is kind of like asking him all these questions, and like anytime like Downey responds to him, he just like really like what you said. He really just puts him down and like is very sassy and kind of rude to this kid. But
I don't see a sandwich here.
Yeah, like I love that when he's just like giving him the list of all the things he needs, and like where's my sandwich? And
I can't remember. I wrote down my notes too. I'll look after. He said something about his dad talking about it. He left. He's like, oh well.
Dad's leave, kid.
Yeah, and I think you don't gotta be a pussy about it. Like, that's what I like, that he didn't like start loving this kid or anything. But
I don't know. I kind of liked it. It just felt like a different segment, and I felt like we got to see a side of Tony Stark that we haven't seen before. True. You know, he's off. He's just wearing like this flannel, and it's very out of his element. He's like that random poncho that he just got, and I don't know. I like the segment. Yes, I'll agree that like when he goes to the bar and just like talks to that woman, it's like. It's pretty dry. Doesn't really. He has like that. He talks to that extremist girl like before he walks in there.
Like
I was super confused. I thought she was like from another one of the Iron Man movies, and I just forgot about her. She was some fling. It was very very awkward. Yeah. And then I mean all the detective stuff in this movie is just like kind of dull because the only thing to figure out is that these people are blowing up and there isn't a bomb. And it just takes like an hour and a half before they figure that out, and I don't know. It could have been more interesting stuff.
I feel like
I do like that fight scene though, and like how how he I guess blows that girl up by planning some stuff out. Yeah. So I had enough fun with that segment. It probably did go on a bit longer than it needed to, but it was something different, and I like visually. I like the town, just like this snowy little town that he's hanging out in. So.
I feel like each movie between 2 and 3 are trying to recapture Iron Man 1 when like all the science stuff is going on and he's building that. And for me, I really liked all that stuff. And you're watching, it's like, oh, this movie by great pacing. Mm-hmm. Like the second one had that when he's like building the new chest plate. And then this one has like investigating the bomb. Like I feel like both of them have these things that are trying to be similar to one, where it's like, oh, he's doing like really smart scientific stuff, but in these two cases, it's kind of like, man, like this could have been like 5 minutes shorter, you know? Right. Like it didn't have where like him building his original suit. I could have watched the whole movie of that because it's just so entertaining and not so much here. I would say I'd love to see this movie remade with Taylor playing the kid, like at this age. But Taylor, what did you think about the kid?
Which, like me, Taylor?
Yeah, what did you think of yourself as a kid?
As a kid? I was definitely outside a lot.
Did you get dropped a couple times too?
Dropped?
Yeah.
Like where?
Like on your
awful
head.
Things.
My head? Yeah. Why would I get dropped?
Did you have a potato gun?
Your dad was running away from the Dutch because he couldn't pay. What do you think about the kid? Break the tie.
I really liked this whole segment with the kid and everything. I thought the way him bouncing off of Tony, the chemistry between the two, I thought it was great. I felt really bad when the kid's like, my mom just left for the diner and my dad went to get lotto scratchers. But I guess he won because that was 10 years ago. I'm wondering if he did actually win or if he just decided to take off and it was a lie.
I think it's just I think it's just a joke.
Oh. The kid made that's a dark joke for a kid. But
I don't think it's a joke, but the dad didn't win. He just pieced out. He said this kid's fucking annoying. I'm out of here.
I think the whole thing of the kid helping him out, like, and the fact that the kid didn't recognize it was Tony Stark right away, I think it just adds to the point where, like, here's another sign of, like, people are obviously, they recognize the suit. They don't recognize Tony Stark.
Well, a kid would.
I think
a kid would recognize the suit and not the guy.
Yeah, sure. I think because the kid's not watching CNN or anything, right? So that one I buy. Like, oh yeah, the kid wouldn't be like, you're.
But who doesn't recognize Tony's face is on everything though in this universe?
But his is on everything business-wise, to deal with like clean energy and stuff like that. Like kids aren't reading the hottest clean energy tools they use in whenever this movie came out, 2013.
2013. I definitely think though the kid. I think he. Sorry, I'm trying to see when this date is.
I like the Dora the Explorer watch and the
2013?
subsequent like 2 or 3
Yeah.
jokes that came out with it as well. The limited edition.
Yep.
I like that. I like those jokes.
I think everything leading up to the point where they're in the bar and stuff, the one thing I don't understand is why the extremist girl was leaving the bar when Tony was going in, and then she made a point of
It's
having
really
to come
awkward.
back. It's like she walked in and couldn't see her target and then left.
Well,
and
it's
came
like, was
back.
she looking for this guy's, the mom that he talks to, right? Like the older lady? Because
Yeah.
she's clearly sitting there. It's like a really, like bungled, like, juggling scene that I feel is just, they just wanted him to fight these extremist people, you know? Because nothing really continues to happen with that mom. Like Dylan said, it's just more of like, oh, he was the bomb, you know? It's just like, okay.
It's a quick plot device.
And it's one of my least favorite things, and I can't remember when we did this recently, and when this cast came out was recently, so it doesn't matter. But like when a main character is investigating something that we already know, you can do that for a little bit, but when it's a big plot point, we literally were with Happy when we saw the guy explode. It's not like, hey, Happy went to go do something and now he's in a coma.
And that's really early in the movie, too.
Yeah, so that's the thing where, for me, that happens in a lot of movies where if they're investigating something that we don't know, that's why something like a Gone Girl or something like that is good, because it's like, okay, or Seven, we don't know what's going on, we're trying to figure out with our characters. When we know, the tension's gone. Like, we know that these people are being used as bombs, and then you can
Instead, what you're supposed to do is, come up with an interesting way for the character to find out.
And quick, too.
So that we are not surprised at what happened, we're surprised at how they found out about it, but they don't do that here.
No.
Do you think it's a little weird why it took so long for the extremist people to go and get the notes on this guy?
I don't even...
Tony was going, in Tennessee.
Yeah, it doesn't really make much sense.
Well, no, I don't know, because Tony went after looking for this guy because he saw, an anomaly that no one else really saw. So, I'm guessing it's because the extremist people were tracking him or following him, or maybe they hacked into his, research and found that he was looking into this guy, but before, no one had suspected that this case was to do with the... maybe they probably would have more information, though. I think you're right there.
It's extremist, by the way, guys, just so you know.
Extremists. Wowzers.
Extremists, you know?
So you know when Jarvis died and the suit powered down?
I think he went for a sleep.
He went...
I mean, what's
just
just like death and running
just
on
like
battery,
R2-D2 in New Hope, who did not die.
Hibernation mode. So you know how the suit powered down, right?
Yeah.
So now he told Jarvis to pop the suit open. If he didn't get to do that in time, do you think he would have been stuck in the suit and frozen to death?
Wow. I don't know if he would have been frozen to death, but I think he would have been stuck in the suit, but he would have had to use a lot of his weight to move it. But I think, I don't know if he'd freeze to death, but I think I don't think he saves Pepper or the day if that's what happens.
I feel like the battery issue on the Iron Man suit is something of an issue. And
well, remember, it was a prototype still. That's why.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't fully to go. Right. But, that's why...
They should have some renewable energy in these...
Well, and that's why Tony Stark... Yeah, that's the suit you want to use when you call terrorists to your house, is the suit that's still in prototype mode.
Classic.
Well, I think and he had he was using it too. He answered the door in the prototype suit. Yeah. That is very poor.
It's because of the sweet style. I can look in the mirror and be very
throw
satisfied.
it on people and everything like that. Yeah. Well, we skipped over the beginning. I'm going to talk about the beginning now. So, how does this movie actually start? What's the first scene? Oh,
the first scene is the flashback.
Which I love those. I think...
You love them.
I love Happy Hogan in those scenes. That's why. When the ball...
he has the longer hair.
And the explosion goes off.
He's the exact same guy with...
And he jumps and he's just like, get down. And he's like, it's over. Like, stay down. And whatever he's saying, and he's just checking on him.
That little nod he gives them when he closes the door.
Yeah, he's great. That's the first time we get to see the Spider-Man Homecoming Happy Hogan, because in 1 and 2 you got to joke around a bit more, but I feel like this movie supplements this persona he has. Later on when he's trying to show Tony, Pepper, and Killing talking, and he's like, I just see you. He's like, oh, hang on. I just see you. And he's like, flip the screen. I can't flip the screen.
I'm not a genius like you, Tony.
He's just great. You got your badge. The whole beginning with him, he's awesome. He's fantastic. So big shout out Jon Favreau. I like the flashback because it's something... I think it's something new. We don't get... I'm trying to think, are there much flashbacks?
Black Panther?
No, I meant up until... I meant up until this point. Oh. We are doing retrospective. Thor kind of has them, but they're in a Lord of the Rings, this is what happened in the past. This is the first time maybe, but it's rare, right? In the Iron Man movies, or in Marvel movies, it hasn't happened, so I like that. I like the setting. We get a good... Jensen makes a cameo.
Does he?
The guy in the cave, he greets Tony Stark, and that's when Tony blows him off. Because in the first Iron Man, he says he met him and he was kind of a dick, and that's what happened. He just blows Jensen off and everything like that. Yeah, and then we get jump forward. I like that Downey in this movie. He's the most jacked he's ever been, because you see him like practicing like martial arts and this and that. Like, you do feel like at the beginning of this movie, to me, and that's where at the ending it kind of disappears, like he does feel desperate, and he does feel like he's always pushing himself. Like he said, he hasn't slept for 72 hours. He's always building new machines. And when she's like, "Oh, what is this? Like Mark 15?" He's like, "Oh yeah," and he looks, it's 42. So like, there's all these signs, and I love the conversation him and Pepper have when he's just like, "Yeah, I'm a mess. Like I admit it. Like I can't sleep. I'm doing this." Like that whole scene and the night scene when the Iron Man suit does come to like take her, and he just does that karate chop and breaks all that. Everything from the beginning I really, really liked, and that's I might like that the most in the movie. And I think they set up good of him having his panic attacks, and when he gets in the suit he thinks it's a heart attack or he's been poisoned, but no, the suit, like Jarvis like, no, like it's something wrong with you, like mentally, and it's just great. The Rhodey scene is it's fine. Rhodey I don't think is used well in this movie. I don't think Rhodey's really ever been used well in the first one.
I'll agree, yeah.
Yeah, like I got some lines later on, but man, they give him some of the shittiest dialogue in this movie, like just super cheesy, not even quips. Just at one point he's just like, "Stop or I'll break your face," and it's like, it's not even a quip, he says that. It's like, oh god, like I don't think he's used well in this movie. I don't know, I think Rhodey, maybe they should just kill him off in Civil War, because they can never find what to do with him.
It's true.
But the beginning, and I like the whole, it's good motivation for, okay, Happy's in a coma, I'm gonna call him out, and I like the scene when he's just like, "You come to my house," and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I love the tension that's building between him and Pepper, like right at the start of the movie, and obviously that kind of goes through the whole movie. And
when he's doing the ghost suit, and he's just like, "No, don't go downstairs."
I think that's all really fun. Anytime they're talking, like there's little things that just come up as like, and especially when Hanson shows up at their house, and then they just start like kind of bickering again, Tony and Pepper, for like whatever reason. I don't know. It really feels like a dynamic relationship, and I don't know, that's what I like about it. It's fun. It's fun to see.
And I think
I will say though, like so I really enjoyed as well seeing Tony and dealing with the anxiety and the panic attacks and stuff like that. But I hated that he just like reveals his address, and that's how they find his house and blow it up. Like,
don't you feel like that's a thing
I fucking hated that so much. That's just like the worst like story, like coincidence thing. Like it was so unnecessary. It felt, he's like one of the smartest guys of all time.
But don't you feel like
do you think he would do that and not like set up defenses or do anything to defend his house? I understand that he's like going through some shit, but that is like such a horrible, stupid decision, and he doesn't like even think to like defend or anything. He doesn't have the suits set up to when they fucking come, that he would have some suits like flying somewhere to take them out. He doesn't think like this could have killed Pepper. Obviously, she has plot armor, so she's not gonna die. But
and the whole like first half of the movie is him talking about doing all this stuff because he wants to protect her. See, that is a stupid thing about the Pepper thing. I think in that state of mind, he would have thrown out his address because he was just such a wreck. But I agree.
I think I could see him throwing out a threat, but I don't think he would ever throw out his address, because that also has just like all sorts of connotations of like, you know, you don't want people to know where you live if you're Tony Stark, because then a bunch of random press and stuff are going to come to your house.
See, I bought that, but I agree with you. I just feel like that he has no plan.
It would be so easy for extremists, whatever they're called, to find his address anyway, because obviously we saw in the other movies that he would throw all sorts of parties. A bunch of people already know where he lives, so it doesn't really make a difference. Yeah. But the fact that the reason they found him isn't because they were smart and did some sleuth work, and instead is because he just said it for pretty much no reason is pretty poor.
It would have made sense for them to be not prepared if they just attacked, right? Because it's like, oh, they just came and we didn't know they were coming, right? Like, he made a threat, then, oh, they come from you. I can buy that address thing, but I think you made great points about it. Yeah, even when Hanson does just walk up to the door and he's like, I thought we were in lockdown mode. It's like, shouldn't there have been even like a gun pulled on her from like the roof or something? Like, and yeah, at the end of this movie, we see all the suits. He didn't need to maybe use all of them, but he could have had like 3 or 4 like roaming around outside. So he
probably should anyway.
Yeah, they just need a reason to split them up and for him to go to Tennessee. And I don't think they need him to go to Tennessee. They could have just cut that.
That's
movie could have been
They could have done a lot of things.
Yep.
So what exactly is the topic of discussion right now? Because there's a lot jumping around.
We're talking about the beginning of the movie. So
Taylor, instead of asking that question, you should just jump into a new topic.
I will say one thing that completely irks me is when they are attacking his house and he's running and they can see his thermal signature. I think that is bogus. I think, he's rocking these suits. There's not going to be any thermal heat signatures emanating off of his body. I think that's something.
But don't you think the suit is like pretty hot?
No, I think that's something that he could easily cover up with the tech he's using. I don't know. I feel like that's a very easy thing to just overlook. Not overlook. I think that's an easy thing to fix, I guess. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me. He's got all this fancy tech, and except he can't cover that. That's a huge stealth kind of.
Can you guys answer me one thing? When he gets at the hospital and that guy says like, "Oh, when are you just gonna kill this guy?" And then like Downey turns around, he's like, "It's just worth asking." And Downey does the whole threat and everything. Why does he take the guy's phone? He takes it, he throws it against the wall, breaks it, and he says, "Bill me." And it's like the guy he was douchey, but he wasn't like douchey towards Tony Stark. Like
he was in his face. He had that camera like right in his face. That'd be pretty annoying. He was asking him like, I don't know, like kind of a stupid question. Don't you think?
But was it because when he asks him that's when Downey or Tony's finally like, yeah, like I'm gonna do it. I've been waiting to call you out. Like here's my address. Like that's kind of because people are asking him questions. Yeah. He doesn't. He's going into his car. And the second that guy's like, when's someone gonna kill this guy? That's when he stops and turns around. I just feel like I know Tony Stark's kind of a dick, but for him to break the phone, I was kind of like, I don't know. This feels like a really unnecessary.
But he did say "bill me" though, so they got that on tape. You can charge.
Yeah, but now that address.
No, the tape's gone because. On the phone.
Well, no, but everybody else has them.
They had microphones.
But no, they had
I don't know. Was there another camera?
There was a bunch of cameras, yeah, because they play the clip later. But then he can't bill him because his address is gone. It's blown up.
But he's got Tony Stark legit saying, "Bill me."
I don't
know
if
he could write a letter.
That guy didn't really seem to care either when his phone got smashed. He's like, this has happened before. It'll happen again. I'm paparazzi. I'm used to this kind of shit.
Where do we want to go next with this?
I think we should transition over to Miss Potts.
Okay. I think she's still great in this movie. They still got good chemistry. I like her motivations. Like obviously Tony's really busy. He's acting like a wreck. She kind of becomes damsel of distress kind of second half of the movie. And then near the end of the movie, the reason they have Pepper get extremist and she kind of saves the day. I was reading this in the trivia. They say because they didn't want her to always be a damsel in distress, and I do get that. I just don't like her fighting Killian and killing him. I don't like when any character that's not really had much fighting background to me just comes and kicks ass. Like Killian's this guy who's been working with this his whole life. I feel like people in the Taurus, if you're fans, I fucking hate the end of Force Awakens when Rey just destroys Kylo Ren. Like anytime there's finding a smart way, but she literally just gets power. She kicks him and overpowers him when she catches Iron Man's glove and shoots him. It's just does extremist now mean you're just? It does, I guess, but it just means you're just super
enhanced reflexes.
Yeah, like everything.
You see how jacked she is. She's obviously doing workouts.
She is. I think Pepper is good in this movie, but I feel like she's in it, or she feels like she's in it the least out of the other two as far as impact. And maybe that's just because now we're not chasing towards anything, right? They're together. There's no
Well, they also just undo the extremists from her as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's not really even going to be a factor in the future. So that's a bit disappointing for sure.
No, I'm not disappointed with it. I don't need to see Gwyneth Paltrow. I think how she pops up now in the movies is fine.
I guess so. I guess I don't
like her though.
I don't like the actress, so that's a big thing. I like Pepper, but the thing is, with love, the point of her was she was Tony's protector in the first movie, right? And then the second one is them getting together. Lots of times in these superhero movies, love interests always have to be forced in, and that's where this movie, she didn't feel like she has to be forced in, but at times it felt close to that, and I feel like if we got Iron Man 4, it would be that thing where she doesn't always have to be on the adventure. Look at, we did Spider-Man Retro when we did the Tobey Maguire ones. Mary Jane always got fucking kidnapped and was at the end, it was the same thing. That's the thing where it's I just don't know if there's a place always for love interest, other than that's why I like when Homecoming just popping in for a scene or two, and they're like, oh, they're getting married, maybe, blah, 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 that's fun. Or if there's a story that has to do with her, and it felt like that at the beginning with her interaction with Killian, but then she's just she's driving Hanson around, she's just damsel in distress, she's just kind of there, right? She's just... I
did like, in the scene when Tony's house is blowing up, how he puts the suit on her. I like seeing that because obviously she's really awkward in it. But it's kind of funny. It's kind of cool to see her in a suit.
See with the faceplate, it's funny to see her. It's strange.
It does look pretty silly. She's a goofy space marine or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about like her having superpowers. I don't really mind. I just think it's weird that they did it and like she had superpowers for like 10 minutes and now she doesn't and presumably will never have powers again. I mean, it could have been something they use in the future because obviously there's like the unpredictability to, you know, what she had done to her body, but it's still, I don't know. I think it's weird because she's just kind of like flailing like for most of that sequence. And then right at the end, she like grabs that pole and like smacks him.
Yeah, and you don't like the last end sequence for most part, right? Like, what is it you don't like? Because I like the suits go around. I love when Downey's.
I don't have like any particular problems with it. I just wasn't really that into the action. I do like the section when he's jumping from suit to suit.
Yeah.
But other than that, like Rhodey's stuff is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Killian, like I don't know, he's not really that. I guess I said at the beginning that he's kind of cool, and I like his look, but he's kind of just like strong and like a regular humanoid kind of guy. Like he doesn't really use the fire a whole lot.
No, he doesn't.
So
that'd be my go-to all the time.
I would love if I could breathe fire. I would do that every single day of my life. That'd be so cool. So I don't know. I guess maybe I'm not sure what it was, whether it'd be a boring set piece or just not really liking the action. It didn't really do it for me a whole lot. Maybe it was because of how it ends as well. I don't know if that's really.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a cool idea that, you know, Tony puts the suit onto him and then activates the self-destruct, but then
it doesn't kill him.
It was just a shot. Like it didn't actually do anything to him at all.
And they don't really explain.
And instead he dies because she like kicks him. No,
she kicks it like a missile or like a bomb or something, and then shoots it. Yeah, they're not really clear of what can and not like kill extremist people because like. That one, like the main goon at one point gets his like entire face like shot, and then he heals, and that's fine.
And he he's pretty quick.
Too. Yeah, but then when he gets shot through the stomach, it's like, oh, game over for him, you know. And like someone told me, like I was like, oh, well, that's strange. Like, oh, well, it's internal organs, but it's like, well, yeah, but at the same point, then he's missing his brain, so shouldn't you just have like. Yeah, like they kind of play a little loose and fast with what's going on at the end.
Yeah, just for whatever scene, whatever they need.
Yeah, because I feel like
it's kind of explained because it's an unpredictable treatment and they haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
So it does make sense within the plot, but it's still like as a viewer is kind of confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's for the movie's detriment or its benefit. I don't know. That's for you to decide.
And I should have earlier, but because we're talking about, I guess, the back half of the movie, I like the Air Force One stuff. I like him saying all the people. That was good. I like the twist of whatever the goon's name is going in Iron Patriot and using that as like to be undercover and getting there. I like that they don't even like make him say anything. He's just like, oh, Captain Rhodes, and he just like, gives a salute. It's like, I feel like with the president you'd still like have like a thumb scanner or something. Maybe they don't, so fuck me, right? So I don't know. I'll ask JJ to text Trump for me, but yeah, that's all good and everything. I like that he was controlling the suit and then he gets hit by a truck, but I feel like the last half of this movie is primarily just lots of action, you know, and
lots of
action. And I think it's pretty good for the most part.
I can't blame you there.
Yeah.
Taylor, what do you think of that final sequence, final set piece, the oil rig thing, the jig?
You know, this movie definitely had its moments where it just made me like lean forward and just be so captivated by the action. And that moment when Rhodey and Tony are just looking out. And
Rhodey and Tony.
And Tony's like, yeah, that's them. And you see like the lights in the sky coming, and it's just like, it just like my eyes are like, oh, is this happening? And then you see like, it's like literally 38, and it's like all the suits lining up, and it's like, oh, this is sick. But all the suits are just around the whole boat. And you see all the extremist peoples just looking up, and it's like, this is badass. This is a whole army of Iron Men just gonna go to town, and you're just waiting for it, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting. And then all of a sudden, it's like, Tony Stark's like, and then all the suits go in, and it's just fantastic. And I absolutely love that scene. It just builds up the excitement and anticipation of seeing all these suits dish it out. And
could have used that for Ultron, but you know, he blew him up.
You know, that's very true.
Could have.
But I mean, Ultron built his own, so it's okay.
Said he wanted some really expensive fireworks by blowing up all the suits.
Very expensive fireworks. I think the one problem I had with this scene, before I get to the problem, I will go leading up to it. I really enjoyed when Rhodey's like, okay, give me a suit. And he's like, sorry, they're all accustomed to me. And the suit lands, and Jarvis is like, need to lift Colonel Rhodes or whatever. And he's like so embarrassed on his face as he gets hugged and lifts gets flown away. But
even there's a weird scene when he gets the president and he's like, "Hang on," and then the president's like, "What? What do you mean?" It's like, "Sure." It's like, what the fuck? What do you think he means? Like he's a pretty
stupid president.
He kind of is. I got the
he's
vibe.
very stupid.
I don't feel like he ever really said anything either. He just had like a blank stare. He always looked confused. I think he was maybe like baked in like half the scenes.
He was a great villain in Die Hard too, by the way. Shut that out. And
I'm not dissing the actor.
He has one scene where he shows emotion where he has to phone Mandarin and save that guy's life. Remember?
Yeah, but he doesn't say anything. I think
he says like, "Okay, like I'll talk."
Okay. He says, "Okay."
He says Colonel Rhodes, and he gives the salute.
Yeah.
I definitely
excellent character.
I think for me, sorry, before we go to, I think it's weird because we've never heard any mention of the president in all these movies, and he's the president, and then later on we never see the president again. Like it feels like we should meet the president more in these.
He should probably be pretty important with how much shit's going on.
Especially like Civil War, no input from the president at all.
Who cares about him?
Yeah, continue. You get to your con.
Yeah, the con. So essentially, Rhodey is on that storage container, and he shoots the thing. And he swings underneath, and as he's swinging underneath, I hate when in movies they do the scene transition. It irks the shit out of me. And it shows him swinging, and then it cuts to the next scene, and it's just him grabbing onto the president, like Iron Patriot's suit. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't properly show him it just looks fake, and it looks cheesy, and it just adds more credibility to the fact that that is bullshit. He would not be able to do that. Now, if they show him swinging, Mission Impossible style, he's swinging, and then it cuts to the scene, and it shows him actually throw himself off the crate and lunging towards and grabbing on Iron Patriot, then I'd be like, okay, I'm sold. He just totally did that. But it didn't show that, and it irked me. It looked so staged. And then, I will admit, though, it does make a little bit of a comeback, though, when he, like, grabs on, he like, uses a repulsor to take out the cord, and then he swings even more over the explosion. And then he jumps and does a barrel roll and is like, and shoots the cord, and then the Iron Patriot falls. Like, hey, he has definitely got some moves, but you know, that just transition scene is just a total con for me. I hated that.
I love that all reviews, your cons are always these specific.
Something that I would never think
never
of.
Story points, never acting, never even editing. Like it's just
that's editing. It
kind of is. Like I'll give you that, but like I feel like you're less about the editing, more about the moment of it looking fraudulent or whatnot. But
it's definitely fraudulent.
Yeah. Do you have notes on your?
Well, how do you feel about all the suits blown up, Taylor? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you like all the suits.
I love all the suits.
But how about like story wise or character choice wise? Obviously, he does it for
Pepper.
Does it for love.
For Paltrow.
You know, at the end of the day, I get that. You know, you gotta do something for love. You gotta do it for love. Love triumphs. Love is a powerful tool, more powerful than the suits. So that being said, when he blows up,
it's just so wasteful. You know, as someone who recycles. It really hurts me to just see him blow up all
And
the
then
suits.
Spider-Man Homecoming, it shows that he's still just fucking around being Iron Man. She's like, well, that's Tony now. So it's like, well, you couldn't accept him before all these fucking suits.
he says he's to Pepper. He's gonna cut back a little bit. He doesn't say he's done being Iron Man.
Everyone says that. You know?
He says he's gonna cut back.
But he doesn't cut back.
Yeah, he only has the one suit, and he just upgrades the one suit to another new suit.
He definitely has more than one suit.
Yeah, and he's still doing his Iron Man thing. I think you took it the literal sense. I think she meant cut back, like stop being Iron Man, not like just get rid of the suits. That has
3 suits per week, not 5.
Because even in Civil War, when he says couldn't stop being Iron Man, Pepper left him for a bit. So I think it was more about him being out there putting his life on the line. She didn't want that.
Being with Tony can't be easy. You know, I don't blame her that much.
No. Well, yeah. I guess.
But at the same time, it'd be really cool. You know.
Yeah.
Because she could probably just ask, like, hey, can you make me a suit? Like, it doesn't have to have guns. You know, just something to fly around in. He'd probably do it in like a day or 2.
Give her blasters and wings.
Give her blasters and wings. Nice. I like that.
Shout out to Ant-Man 2.
Ant-Man 2. Can't wait.
Yeah, the suit's blowing up. So, you know, it definitely was a waste. It definitely was sad. I felt like each suit had its own unique, like, capability and, like, personality. I think, like, I can't remember the one suit's name, but when it was, like, huge Hulk looking, it goes underneath and its spine, like, reestablishes itself and it like lifts up the thing, and like his other suit he uses to cut off Alex Kensington's arm or whatever. When the
blade, you made that for the joke, right?
Yeah. It was Alec Kendridge, right?
No, Aldridge Killian.
Oh, fuck.
Is it really that hard of a name to remember?
Alien Grildridge. That's
Alien.
It's some fucking
Alien.
Harry Potter character.
Kobe!
I'm Alien Kinderidge. I'm your dark arts teacher.
I definitely loved when that
dark
blade,
arts,
though, pops out of
Yeah?
his suit.
Isn't it Dark Arts?
Defense against the
I
dark
was
arts.
joking because
There's still a fucking Dark Arts
I was
teacher.
joking that it sounded like you said Dark Hearts.
Dark Arts.
Dark Arts.
Yeah, that's what I teach.
But yeah, that whole blade coming out of his wrist and everything, that was really, really sick.
Whoa, no way. You think a wrist blade is sick? What?
Well, I
That's
would,
shocking.
I guess, yeah, like a wrist blade. Not like
You
Assassin's
love
Creed
you own
style.
wrist
It was,
blades.
I do own wrist blades. It was more like the Predator, but not two of them. It was just one thick, like, wrist blade shooting out.
One thick blade shooting out.
I love thick blades.
How do you always do that?
I did definitely find, you were talking about lines with Aldridge earlier. And he says this one thing where he like pops up through the floor and he's like, "Is this guy bothering you?" I didn't even know that.
It's such a good line that does not fit this movie.
He came out of nowhere, dude.
You know the line he's referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Pepper's in danger. Oh, I forgot about the line. Oh, is he bothering you? This is delivery. He's in a completely
Actually,
different
that whole
movie.
scene is kind of confusing because like the roof kind of caves in and Pepper's like on the ground covered in rubble and like Tony's like reaching his hand out.
He can't
He's like,
get her.
reach a little bit farther. It's like, are you just gonna pull her through all this rubble and like rip her body? Like I don't. That was a pretty bad plan. I don't think it was even a plan. Obviously, he just wants to reconnect with her, but yeah, it must be bothering him. Right?
And the way he says to her, is this guy bothering you? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
sometimes
a
he's
couple.
really, really creepy.
Yeah, he is, yeah. He comes off as like white van
And
and
Alex Kidji.
parking lot guy.
White van and parking lot.
Like kid, like a Toys R Us parking lot. Like,
Ah, yes.
hey, is he bothering you? Do you, for your notes on your phone, can you look them up? Because then I need your phone
You
for
mean your
my
notes?
notes. Yeah, because I don't have my computer here, so.
Stan Lee cameo in this movie.
Don't like it. It's one of the lower tier ones for me when we rank them.
What was
That's
it
why.
again?
It's when they're showing the
It was
most.
like a beauty
Well, actually,
contest.
I thought he
Oh,
missed
right.
it. Yeah, and then he just throwing a 10. And it's
Throwing
like-
up a big 10.
That to me is one of these cameos where it does just feel like we need him in here, throw him in there. Like I like the cameos where it legitimately feels like they put some thought into it to put him there, and that doesn't feel like that. That felt
Or
like
he's
they
playing
made.
like a specific character as opposed to just random judge.
Yeah,
from
that
the
felt like
board.
they made the movie,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're like, where could we put him in? You know, where Black Panther is a good one. I love the Guardians one. I love obviously it's not an MC movie, but this Amazing Spider-Man one in
Yeah.
the library, fantastic. But
Mhm.
have you done your notes, or you just?
I'm looking at your notes.
Oh.
You just grabbed my fucking
There's a lot of
phone.
notes. I am surprised you just tried to break them
Don't
down.
go in browsing history.
It's
I got a lot of Bionicle memes.
of course not.
One thing I'll bring up is so the outro credits playing like some music and there's just like a montage of all sorts of crazy action scenes from
All
this
three.
movie, other Iron Man movies, probably some scenes from Avengers. I really didn't like it at all. It was
Oh,
like
shit.
super
Really?
cheesy,
That was
and I
great.
just felt weird like seeing all these scenes.
Well,
it really didn't.
again, this
it
felt
really
like
didn't
it was
fit
the-
the movie for me.
Yeah, but
It was way
it
too,
fits
like-
if this is the last Iron Man movie ever, right?
I guess so. I'm never really a fan of just like because that's like a trailer. It felt like a trailer at the end of this movie.
Don't you like watching them than just like seeing just cool colors instead of that? Like if you're sitting in the theater, when do you want to watch? Like, oh, that's cool. Shut up.
I like when there is thought put into the credit scene. That one in particular was just kind of aggressive and very cheesy. It was very cheesy, not in a good way. There's good cheese, there's bad cheese. That was bad cheese.
Don't you like it more than just a black screen with white font?
That's what I
Like
just
a
said.
white-
That's I just said I like if there is some thought put into the credit scene. And this certainly is different than most credit scene, but I didn't like the choice particularly.
I like Fake Mandarin's monologue about fortune cookies when he's like they're American and they're fake and they're full
They're
of lies.
hollow
and
on the inside.
They leave a bad taste in your mouth.
They
And it's
leave
like,
lies. They're filled with lies. Yeah.
just shut up. I like fortune cookies.
That's
so
it.
he's
It was a
completely
great
wrong.
analogy.
Are they
One of
really
the better
American made?
analogies.
I'm assuming so. I've never looked into it.
They look pretty American made. I think I'm all busted out of notes here.
I do think so. Yeah, I think
Busted out of
see this is why I just take a look and like I said again. Yeah, Rhodes. He just has awful lines. I just gotta give them in there. Oh, at one point, yeah, Downey says some line to set him up, and then he just literally says "death by oil." It's like okay,
says
Rhodey says "death by oil" at one point. It's like
Really?
fuck, man. Yeah, like we need a montage of all this stuff. But yeah, dude. If we have nothing, I have a few quick trivia things.
One thing I had actually. So, the end of this movie, Tony Stark uses the regenerative technology that he remembered from back in the day to fix Pepper and to fix it so he doesn't have to have the
Yeah.
What is that thing called again?
The shrapnel.
They just call it the shrapnel?
Oh, the arc reactor.
The arc reactor, that's what I was looking for. Yeah, so he uses that. Had me a little bit confused because obviously he knew about that technology like 10 years ago in the thing. And so I guess
really
he
shoehorned into the end of the movie.
Right, like I guess he just forgot that he knew that throughout like his whole life. Like I don't understand why he wouldn't have used that technology earlier to fix himself.
I took it as he almost didn't want to fix himself because he wanted to be tied to the suits in a way, like him always. Like,
really?
Yeah, that's why I took it. Yeah.
I took it as like he just forgot, or because that technology he like was drunk when he had done it, and so he just it slipped his mind. It just seemed like a kind of strange. Like obviously it is a good ending to this movie, but I think there is a way that they could have done this movie in that he, you know, earns like the access to those like formulas and that technology, or maybe he was like almost on the brink of that technology, but he had one more piece that he couldn't put together, and that would even give Killian like some more credit because he figured out something that Tony couldn't. But instead he just didn't. Yeah, he just remembered. I guess I don't know. It felt a little bit strange to me. Maybe I'm missing something, but
well, maybe you are missing something because my first trivia note: the first cut of this movie was 3 hours and 15 minutes long.
Wow, that's a long movie.
The final cut is 2 hours and 10 minutes. So I cut an hour and 5.
Where'd the hour go?
Looking into his chest plate. That I imagine there was more with the Hansen, I bet. But yeah, 3 hours and 15. That's a. Whoo.
I'm super curious what that would have been.
I don't know if that'd be a good watch.
Because that's like that's a lot. That is a real significant chunk of time.
Length.
That's Jude Law was considered for the role of Aldrich Killian.
I would have liked that.
There you go, and he's going to be appearing in Captain Marvel soon.
So would you rather switch the roles, have Jude Law in this and Guy Pearce in Captain Marvel?
Yeah, I see Captain Marvel first, but they both. I think Jude Law will die in that movie, so I think it doesn't matter either way. They're both one-note characters.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's not too much. The other last one was originally one of the plans was for the end credit scene to be a scene of Iron Man going to space and meeting the Guardians to set that up. Because at the current, and these are still rumors, but at the current time when this was happening, Iron Man was in space with the Guardians in the comic books. So that's something they could do in the future, but they nixed it because, once again, I wonder if this has a lot to do with the movie. They weren't sure if Downey was going to be coming back in the future or not. Because I think they had only had him up for like Avengers 2, and then I think after that they're like, oh, I don't know. And now, I think his contract's up. I think he's just constantly like Civil War to re-sign and Infinity War. So, yeah, I think it's probably better because I think I like that we're going to wait to meet the Guardians, and I think that would have felt a little hamstringed in of him just going to space in the end credits.
That would have been really early for that reveal.
Yeah.
Considering how, Infinity War's not even out yet.
But I guess maybe their idea was, at that point, which they didn't need it, luckily, but maybe their idea was, oh, hey, Guardians, no one knows it, so we'll use Iron Man like we did with Spider-Man Homecoming, right? Mm-hmm. They were already looking at that, but they took a risk, and it worked with Guardians, and I think it worked better. And I like the end credit scene, which Taylor did not watch, but it's fine. It's just a comedic one that they make the narrative sense that, okay, who has he been talking to the whole time? It's been Bruce on the couch. That's why this movie has narration. So it's like kind of fun. The scene's all right. Bruce just be like, oh, I'm not that kind of therapist, but like I'm not sure where it will rank, or not that kind of doctor. I still think it would probably rank like in the middle, lower tier where we rank the end credit scenes.
It's a little disappointing for me because I really liked those two, as we did our Avengers rewatch recently. Mm-hmm. And I forgot how much I liked the dynamic between those two. So, I mean, it's just a post-credit scene, so it's not like they're going to flesh out anything anyway, but I don't know, I just kind of maybe wanted a bit more from it. Yeah. It's kind of boring.
Yeah. Right, I didn't watch it. So, anything else to say before we do our overalls?
I think not.
No? I'll go first. Kind of a mixed bag, but the stuff I really like. It's shot well, it's acted well, there's some good action there. Some questionable choices along the lines of story and character, and even some character development at times when we talk about the clean slate. I'm going to give this movie a 7. I do think it's better than Iron Man 2. I think it's an enjoyable movie. I still liked watching it, but it's not if it says, hey, you can only watch these 5 MCU movies the rest of your life, and the rest you have to forget. This is nowhere near. I wouldn't even Iron Man 3's gone. But I do that with Iron Man 2. I do that with a lot of other ones like Thor: Dark World. This is just. I think this is when I do end up ranking it. It's like it's maybe like exactly middle tier. If not, it's like higher middle tier. But it's probably fully middle tier, just like a good. I don't know. It's somewhere. I say that because it's hard. I gotta think about what's below.
Yeah.
Because so it actually might be lower, to be honest.
A lot of movies.
It might be lower end. So scrap the middle tier thing. I think it's on the lower side, but I still enjoy it. I still liked it, and yeah, that's me.
It's definitely one of my. What are you doing?
I just see what time it was.
Okay, you're just reaching in there.
I didn't even reach like that.
He didn't reach in anything.
I even went over. I didn't like. Bastard.
I definitely like this Iron Man a lot. I think it had a lot of character, a lot of development, and a lot of unique kind of like storylines and different situations and paths that it tackled, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I think as far as, it coming off as maybe being like an end note for Iron Man, I think it was really powerful and a great send-off that they could have ended it there if they wanted to, but I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad that they keep on bringing him back because, what's Infinity War without Iron Man, right? He's a huge character that we, he's one of the ones we got introduced with for this whole Marvel.
He was the
setup.
one.
Exactly. So,
He was the first. One of.
There's a lot of movies, but there's not that many. There is a first.
I would totally be down for an Iron Man 4. I would so very much enjoy that.
I hope it happens. I really do.
I really do too.
I don't think it will, but I hope it does.
I'm easily gonna give this a good 41 out of 42 suits. I have to say. So
I was wondering where he was going with that. What's the thing that is it? That fucking roadie shot.
The roadie shot is so bad. It's just it shows him swing on the.
You can explain it already. Okay.
It's terrible. Go watch that scene, please.
Dylan,
I would be heartbroken as a director if the reason my movie wasn't considered perfect was because of one shot. One little shot. That it's not even a story thing. It's
Taylor's
just
a tough
little
critic.
transition.
He'll be on that DVD, the Blu-ray cover. Best Marvel movie except for one shot.
Yeah.
Dylan, your final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. I pretty much said it. Oh, the one thing that I haven't mentioned yet, and because it's so forgettable, is the soundtrack. Super, super lame.
They play the Blue Adidas song.
There's a couple Christmas tunes, but overall, the score is really forgettable. But anyway, as a Marvel movie, I would probably put this one. I'd probably put this one above number 2. I think there's more moving parts. There's more going on. I like some of the characters. Some of them are let down as well. Everything on this movie, I feel like I'm split because the action is probably I don't know if it's a 50-50, but I'm split. I like some scenes. I don't like some of them. The only thing that really shines through as being amazing throughout the entire movie is Robert Downey. I think sometimes we kind of gloss over that on these retros because it's kind of just assumed and everyone knows that he's good. But seriously, he is so amazing, and he
if he doesn't show up, this movie's not.
It sounds weird to say that he carries this movie, but really he increases the quality such an amazing amount by playing the character and pushing the story along and action scenes and humor and everything. He's so much fun to watch. Yeah. So much fun to watch.
He does because, sorry, you can hate me all you want, but people want an example of that. Look at Ben Affleck in BVS and then look at him in Justice League. That's how you can see something where when someone doesn't come to play, that's where it's people go, well, if he came to, he would still be the same if he wasn't that good. No. If an actor shows up and they're not really into the role, not really into the movie, you can notice a dip and someone can bring it up. Even if it's not a great movie like this movie, he still brings it up to, it's watchable. Same thing as maybe hopefully when they will do the X-Men movies. Jackman does that with a few of the X-Men movies too, where it's everything else is kind of shit, but Jackman's still giving 110%. It's just good to see him doing his thing, right? So, yeah. Taylor, where can they... Are you done?
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's the question?
Did you get a kick out of that scene when he's got the... He just breaks out.
Who's he, first of all?
Robert Downey Jr.
Okay.
He breaks
3, 2,
out
1.
He breaks out of the mattress cover. Yeah, the 3, 2, 1, and he's flying around and stuff. And then when he goes to shoot the last guy, the guy immediately just he's like, you know what? No, I hate it here.
They're super
really
weird.
That's the best line in the movie. I think. I'm glad you showed that. Yeah. Hey, I don't even like working here. They're super weird. But that's it's goofy.
I love that whole I love that whole compound scene. It's a really fun segment of the movie. And even that gag of 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Maybe it goes on a bit too long, but I thought it was funny.
You're about to be nothing but blood and guts right now.
No.
Yeah, I just want to shout that out. But yes, ladies and gentlemen out there, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar.
You didn't even let me do the transition. I was gonna say, where can they find us? Show up.
You already did that earlier, didn't you? And I rudely interrupted you. So you can find us in the search bar. He's totally gone. He's not even here. And, ladies and gentlemen, when you go into the search bar, you can type in Geekverse Space Podcast. Make sure you do it on your Facebook. That is the key component right there.
Yes.
Facebook.com, ladies and gentlemen. And then when you get on there, you're going to go see our timeline. It's got the awesome logo. And you scroll down, you're going to see this, maybe, and tons of other stuff. I don't know. You're definitely going to see this because you're listening to it. So that's great.
It'll have been on there. Yeah.
It'll be already on there, yes. And there's so many other Marvel retrospectives. I mean, the last one we did was Avengers. And that was something, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you.
The next one's Thor Dark World.
Is
That's
it really?
something.
Oh, fuck.
Wow. Wow. So, Thor, I mean, that's something to look forward to. I'm looking forward to it.
You are.
I am looking forward to it. Yeah, I guess. Oh, actually, I won't say. It's cool.
They could know if they head over to our Patreon.
Yes, and that's a good transition, Travis. You know what? Go to the Patreon. We're Geekverse Podcast on Patreon. We're on Twitter at GeekverseCast. Travis does a great job running the Twitter feed. It's been freaking tastic. And you know what? YouTube, Geekverse Podcast, SoundCloud, iTunes, all of these sites. It's absolutely incredible. But most importantly, Podbay. We love that feed.
No! We need to stop this fucking gag. Fuck Podbay. Shit website. We can't even use it in Canada. I've never been on the website. It is not allowed on our domains.
And neither Taylor and I are a frat boy. We don't know which one.
Yeah. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did see
Frat
that.
boy leaving a party at 3 p.m.
That's probably what he's
Honestly,
thinking right
it's probably Travis just because you're loud. I can understand that.
But you know where after at a 3 p.m. party you can see us?
Look, have a
In-
marvel. Wait, what
I
did
was
you
just going to say in the post-credits scene. Maybe again. Have a marvelous day! And we'll see you in the post-credits scene.
Is it time or day, man?
I think time. We don't know if they'll listen to it at day.
You know what
time,
you
but
do?
you said
Have a
day.
marvelous time.
Did I say
Time
day?
of day?
I thought you
No,
started
I
off
don't
saying day.
Shit.
I said time, I think.
We're never gonna get it down.
We might.
At Infinity War.
Robert Down. We'll get it Robert Down. No.
You don't have any notes, right, Taylor?
I might have a couple of
Like notes you've written down?
Wow, this is
Do I
quite
ever
a
write
case.
them down?
You usually don't, right?
No.
So that's what I mean, like that type of notes.
No.
Okay, good, because I messaged you my notes because I forgot my Mac.
Oh, that's what that was. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Why do you message him if it's on your phone? Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Use that big
So now you're
beautiful
going to use
ring.
my battery life.
I'm not gonna have it open all the time. Just
You're
like
gonna use his battery life,
That's a lot of
Travis.
notes.
You jerk.
That is, but like I'll save it.
And what's with turtle sheep cookies?
Don't spoil the nickname.
oh, I got it. That's great.
Thank you.
I think that's fine. Like that's good right there.
Okay.
Alright, that's acceptable. It's just your arm. Now both your arms are in there. So you have to cross your arms the entire time.
Oh no.
What muffin is that?
Food, banana pecan, something, or walnut.
Banana pecan.
It's definitely not.
He
Banana
definitely
pecan.
added an accent when he said pecan. He's like
Banana
banana
pecan.
pecan.
Because I'm French.
Because he can. But
I actually didn't hear what he said, so I don't know why it's funny.
it's really, it wasn't funny is the thing.
Just because you're French
I don't
doesn't
think
mean
Taylor even understood.
mean you need to eat pecans. Like
Pecans.
No, I'm not eating this because I'm French.
A superhero thrill ride. I always like reading these cases.
we're gonna be on those guys.
The best Iron Man yet, Scott Mans.
Scott Mans. He's my favorite movie critic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good.
And he thinks this is the best Iron Man yet.
I could see someone thinking that. I don't agree, but I could see someone thinking that.
Right.
Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle thought that?
Don Cheadle.
A Don Cheadle review. Best Iron Man yet. Don Cheadle.
Because he has the most screen time.
yeah.
He wasn't in the first.
No, and the
That's
second.
just what most well reviewed is the first one.
Are you gonna?
But he wasn't in that one.
Are you gonna eat that first and then go, or are you just?
No, it'd be like the chili all over again.
Oh yeah, because that was such a. Cool
That
experience.
has higher possibility of being quite loud.
Yeah.
So